Albert Okwuegbunam. Got banged up yesterday in the knee, and it really, I mean, when you saw him grab like that while he's still falling to the earth, you kind of could see that it looked ACL-ish. That's all I'm going to say. And we learned late, I should say mid Monday morning, that he has torn his ACL. He's done for the year. And this caused many Broncos fans to just go careening off the emotional cliff. But what was your reaction to Alberto's injury?
This was the injury that pushed him off the cliff of all the injuries this season. It sucks. I mean, what is there to say? It looked like when he went down, he was in a lot of pain. He quickly reached for his knee, and he was ruled out pretty fast. And for anyone who covers the NFL for a while, you learn that quick rule outs are always an ominous sign. And sure enough, he has a torn ACL. He's out for the year. He had some injury concerns in college, Chad, in Missouri. He had some knee issues. He had some shoulder issues. So it's not exactly surprising he's already down with an injury, especially this year. Sucks for him. He was first coming on strong. I would say I'm excited about the next man up at the position, but that would be injured Jake Butt, Nick Vanette. They're bringing back Troy Fumagalli. They don't have Austin Fort. I guess Andrew Beck would be the next tight end, but hopefully this would funnel the rest of the targets that Alberto would have gotten to Noah Fant. It sucks, but it's part of the game.
The problem is the Broncos have, I think it's 2 weeks, 2 more games to go without Jake Butt or Andrew Beck, because last week, I'm trying to put the timeline together for as accuracy being as accurate as possible. I know last week Jake Butt went on IR with the hamstring. It wasn't anything catastrophic. It was, hey, this thing doesn't seem to, be getting better. So let's just go ahead and put him on IR. We've got Noah Fant, we've got Alberto, and then I want to say Andrew Beck was the week prior. So you might be able to get Andrew Beck back after the Raiders game. Either way, in the short term, Zach, yes, the Broncos now are suddenly shorthanded at a position where, they had an embarrassment of riches to open this season, but they're bringing back Troy Fumagalli. They're going to sign him to the practice squad, and he'll be one of those game day activations that, they utilize the next couple of weeks until they can see the lay of the land, whether they can get Beck back, whether they can get Butt back. But for those fans, frog in my throat, 1 second. For those fans who are really tripping over the Alberto injury, as it is tragic, it does suck. But guys, I want to remind you, Noah Fant. Think about how excited you were about Noah Fant. And yeah, he's banged up a little, Zach. He dinged up his ankle again yesterday, but Vic Fangio said, even though they don't have definitive answers, everything's looking good for this coming week against the Raiders. So, hang your hat on the fact that you still got Noah Fant. And even if Fant does end up missing a little time, or if he misses this game against the Raiders, Zach, at least you've got Nick Vanette, who is at the very least at bottom. You boil it down, it's a veteran.
I'd rather the Broncos not start at tight end than play Nick Vanette. I thought you were going to say they have other receivers. They have Jerry Jeudy coming on strong. They have KJ Hamler coming on strong. Obviously, Tim Patrick, Deshaun Hamilton. Again, Alberto, it hurts Drew Lock. It hurts the Broncos passing game. It doesn't hurt the Broncos from a run game standpoint, but those pass targets that would have went to Alberto have to be funneled to Noah Fant, and it would have been a nice 1-2 pairing. They were coming on strong as that really, low-end version of Gronkowski, Aaron Hernandez, but it's part of the game. And we saw Noah Fant, like you mentioned, he went down, he was grabbing at his ankle. He's okay. The Broncos, despite these injuries, they have the horses to keep going, Chad. They can still have a competent average offense. So hopefully Noah Fant is the beneficiary from an unfortunate injury.
I mean, think about this. Broncos fans didn't really, some did based on, depending on how big a draft nicks they were. But most Broncos fans didn't even really know what they had in Alberto until week 6 when he finally dressed. He was a healthy scratch all the way till week 6. It was Noah Fant. The position always was and remains about Noah Fant. And your phrase, I love it. The Broncos still have the horses to be a competent and explosive offense. And this was something that Vic Fangio spoke to today that I want to get more into as the show kind of goes on. But the Broncos, it does hurt, especially just as he seems to be building a little momentum, and the Broncos are kind of figuring out how to use this 2 tight end mismatch nightmare, duo together. They lose him. It does suck. It's just another blow. But as Vic Fangio said, a carpenter doesn't blame his tools, right? You gotta make do with what you have. And if this was the 2019 Denver Broncos offense, I'd be a lot less bullish. But Zach, you have, Jerry Jeudy and KJ Hamler, who combined for 24 targets on Sunday in Atlanta. Combined, all right, the Broncos had 405 yards from scrimmage, all right, in this game against the Falcons. The rookie wide receiver duo of Judy and Hamler, they accounted for over 200 of those yards. So there are horses. And then you got Timmy P. And Timmy P, you could tell yesterday, was still working back from his own injury. But even he had a solid day with 4 receptions, one of them being a touchdown. It was a clutch touchdown, a great throw by Drew Lock. And so there are the horses remain. Plus, you got the running back. So if this offensive line, honestly, Zach, if this offensive line could figure itself out and get clicking, maybe getting Graham back, Graham Glasgow, who Fangio said he will return to practice this week. It's looking good for him for week 10. This offense could get back on track. They just got to figure out their first, second, and third down. And I think there was a tweet. I'll find it here in a few minutes. But, the message to Pat Shurmur is you got to just kind of let off the reins and let Drew Lock be Drew Lock. Because when they do kind of just go, all right, throw the game plan out the window, here are the plays we think that'll work best for Drew, the offense moved, right, in the fourth quarter of these last 2 games, and that needs to be the takeaway.
We've been saying this for what seems like the entire season now because we have. When is he going to just get it through his head? They have to play like that the whole game. And not to turn this podcast into a Pat Shurmur roast session, in terms of Albert O, the injury, this is not a catastrophic. It impacts Albert O much more than the Denver offense. He was a nice piece to have, but it's not like Cortland Sutton going down, not even like Noah Fant going down. Good complementary tight end, but still a very raw player. He should be back. ACL injuries, Chad, medicine nowadays, it's very, very quick turnaround. He'll be back in time for training camp. Good to go for next regular season. In the meantime, it's the Noah Fant show.